Sean, the movie man 71 says Grace Randolph is adamant that The Little Mermaid will hit $1 billion, citing past billion remakes like Aladdin and Lion King, but I don't see it. Thoughts? Well,
let's get into it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with that. Like, we all look at this and we're just like, whatever. But we all said the same shit about The Lion King, Aladdin,
Jungle
Book, all the other ones that hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only ones.
In my defense, I always said Aladdin is going to be a hit. I didn't say that about the others, but I did say that about Aladdin.
Mulan and Dumbo are pretty much the only two who that have really flopped of the bunch.
And Dumbo was quite a while ago too, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, and that didn't out and out flop, but it didn't do very well.
And Mulan was out and out wretched.
Well, that and it came out during COVID. Not that that matters much, but yeah.
And let's not forget the recent ones that weren't even given a theatrical release, like Peter Pan and Wendy, because Pinocchio Pan can have the title for himself, and Pinocchio. There you go.
Lady and the Tramp.
Exactly.
Which I think some people said wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be, and part of it was because they actually used actual animals instead of
that's some high CGI. Praise there. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Put that
yeah, I know, right?
Well, the remake of 101 Dalmatians was also bad.
But
are you talking about
let it be said though that was before all this slew about remaking every single one of their classics?
I think he means Cruella. I think he's talking about Cruella.
Yeah,
Cruella.
See, now Cruella was more or less to be a spin-off of Maleficent, more so.
Exactly, that was more like Maleficent, and Maleficent also, honestly, kind of was the way to do it a little bit, because it wasn't a straight-up remake.
Yeah,
but the same story told from a different angle.
That and it kind of had a thing with this TV show. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like all the good guys and the bad guys from all the fairy tales. They should have done something like that instead.
Mary Poppins was kind of a sideways version.
That's the Returns one, yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it, so I couldn't say.
Neither did I. But
they just don't have. I mean, so good cast, but again, they've kind of lost the charm of old Disney. I don't think it's recoverable. You're not going to be able to do a Freaky Friday. Well, the new Freaky Friday is actually fantastic, or the latest one, which isn't that young anymore, but that was a phenomenally well.
That's almost 20 years old now.
Yeah, with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Mm-hmm. That was an incredibly expert remake, retelling, update. That was a clever bit of work. Even the other Lindsay Lohan thing, the Love Bug, was a really well done remake, but they've kind of lost it.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Sean, the movie man, for this. But like, what do you guys think? Do you think that this movie has the potential to hit $1 billion? I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I don't think she's wrong. I think this one does have a potential. The only thing I think that'll get in the way of it is just Disney's track record right now.
I think it's its length.
Well,
I don't think it's the track record.
Doesn't help either. Well,
no, I think that there seems to be something about it that feels kind of billion-y. But the length, I don't get it. What is it? 2.5 hours long? It's an hour longer than the original.
It's 2
film?
hours. It's a little over like half hour, 40 minutes longer than the original film. At least I've seen 2 different run times for it, so I don't know which one's correct.
So there's an awful lot of ego padding in there. They're keeping songs.
Well, there's a new song. There's a new song in it.
By
which I heard sucks. No, I think they have. I think it was a reworking of a leftover song, if I remember right. Kind of like in the Lion King when they took one of the songs from the sequel that was put in the play. But they do this so they have a new song in the movie, so it's eligible for Oscars.
Right.
That's still only 3 to 5 minutes tops. So what else is added to this movie? Your guess is as good as mine. The reason I think that it'll make $1 billion, though, besides the obvious reasons like Aladdin and Lion King and all the other ones that have, is this has the soundtrack going for it, which Valiant Renegade has pointed out time and time again. And I don't know if little girls really give that much of a shit either way. Now, the parents might keep kids away from it more than anybody. And this is where I think the Disney thing, Paul, what I was just getting at, because Guardians, I think, is kind of proof. The parents are leery of Disney. Because I expected Guardians to do better than it did. And the only thing
this is a Frozen. This is a very different category of film.
It is, but
Guardians is not Frozen. This is Frozen. And their biggest mistake was not using any Cardi B songs. That's really what I think.
Well, and off that note, though, Frozen 2, up until Mario Brothers, was a big, highest grossing animated film.
Yeah, and Frozen is that's a perfect Princess Disney film. And other than Grace Randolph's review, other people have said that the highlight of the film is actually Halle Bailey.
Well, the weird thing is you hear her voice, she sounds almost exactly like the original Ariel.
Yeah.
She's not a problem. I saw the clip of
magnificent singer. Just mechanical.
I saw the clip of Under the Sea though yesterday that come out from Entertainment Tonight. I don't know if you guys heard it, but that is horrible. Oh. And I don't remember the guy who they got doing Sebastian's voice, but he sounds like he's 12 compared to the original, and the music sucks. It looks like it's all done on it's all CGI from top to bottom. And if the scene isn't completely horribly dark, it's overly unnaturally bright. Like all the underwater stuff that I've seen doesn't look like it's underwater. Everybody keeps pointing out there's no bubbles. They don't have anything to kind of make you feel like you're underwater. You even got Scuttle in one scene singing underwater. The bird, that is. I showed that clip 2-3 days ago on Twitter. I found it and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I don't know what's going on with this thing. It looks unwatchable. I mean, it really does.
Yeah, but I'm still afraid of the online rabble wishing for this movie to fail.
And that's where I'm saying I wouldn't underestimate it. I've been the only person, at least on this panel thus far, other than maybe Script, that hasn't been quick to go, oh, it's going to flop.
No,
I don't know that it's
I'm not there.
I've heard Paul and Andre both say it in private. I blew you out of the water. Okay.
I was saying before the show, I expect at its bare minimum it'll take in 450, but that's only if the stigma of Disney has a severe impact. Otherwise, I think it has the possibility to go the distance and probably clear $1 billion, as previous Disney remakes of their animated classics have.
If Halle is as charming as people have claimed, that could be on its own a reason for it to succeed.
And if she's not, her character is silent for most of the movie, so no problem.
I heard about that she's mute.
Yeah. She gives up her voice for legs. That's the story.
She's got legs, she's got fins, and she knows how to use them. Yeah, see, there we go.
I think that's a fair trade, right?
That's right. I mean, she's mute in the cartoon also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the deal.
Well, and then Kiss the Girl's like, you've got to kiss the girl if she signs on the line and gives you permission.
What?
But
no, but that's probably what it'll end up being.
There is a pop community. A lot of young female Black singers are really lining up defending this film, and they've got massive followings. All these pop stars are huge, and they love the idea and defend the idea that, of course, she can be Black. And I'm not getting into that discussion. That's not my point. But the fact that this movie takes place off of Bermuda, of course, it makes sense to have a Black Ariel. So, but it doesn't make sense to have a white guy who is.
Well, yeah, but he's from England. It doesn't matter.
I know.
The whole stupid argument that Grace Randolph made about this is so redonkulous. Do we want to watch that stupid clip, Andre, just so people know what the hell he's talking about?
Well, not if we're going to get struck for it.
No.
I don't know. She hasn't been striking anybody that I know of. She won't even block me on Twitter yet. She loves the attention.
Okay.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, well, let's risk it then.
I have it.
And also, I just want to say the story of the Little Mermaid is Danish. It's outside of Copenhagen where you'll find this. Oh yeah, it's Danish folktale.
No, I know. I went and petted the thing, but it's
oh yeah.
I was in Denmark, Andre.
Yeah,
I seen the real Little Mermaid. Not as good looking as people think. Rather fat. Looks like a manatee.
And that's
in fact tiny. They could have just slapped a bikini top on a manatee and told us it was a mermaid for all I know. But
hey,
I've always been like very concerned with not just with the animated and the live action one, because in the animated one, Ariel has killed a pair of clams, or at least one clam, to create a bra, and in this one here, she has slain a fish and was wearing its skin as a top.
It's actually part of her body, which is even
if it's
weirder.
part of her body, then that's even more of a disappointment for the guy. So
yeah, I'd be like, I got fish tits. What?
Well, you've just made a new meal at Hooters there. That's a new selection at Hooters.
Fish tits.
Fish tits. There you go.
Not at Hooters, Red Lobster.
Yeah, right. That's a new favorite at Red Lobster.
Red Lobster.
Get that right next to the endless shrimp. All right, so let's it's a 2-minute clip that Bleeding Fool was nice enough to put together.
2 minutes, or we have to watch the full 2 minutes.
No, I don't want to watch a full 2 minutes.
Well, she gets into her history bullshit with it too.
No, I don't want to watch 2.
We can speed it up.
Yeah,
the audience may not have seen it though.
There is absolutely nothing to hate about this movie. Absolutely nothing. You know, if anyone hates on it, again, that's a commentary on themselves. As for race-bending Ariel, I continue to stand by my comments that you can't have all these Caribbean musical numbers and a white Ariel. Here, they did shoot in Italy. All over the end credits, they're like, we're in Sardinia. And I'm like, it must be very pretty there. And I wish they hadn't done that, because it's going to give fuel to the haters. That really sucks. But anyway, maybe they wanted like the fairy tale element to the wide shots of the castle. But I mean, it's clearly in a Caribbean setting. It's like, again, as I said, Jack Sparrow could wander into this movie and he would totally fit. But come on, there are steel drums, loved them. And while the aristocrats...
Okay, it's funny
I would have loved Jack Sparrow. If Jack Sparrow was Little Mermaid, I'd go for it.
I was just going to say what Script Doctor said. It's funny that she's trying to make this point and she uses Jack Sparrow, who happens to be white.
And I just want to say, we've already seen mermaids in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and they were pretty awesome. I mean, why couldn't this movie have been a spin-off to the Pirates of the Caribbean and have Johnny Depp cameo? I mean, if it had done that, none of us would be complaining. They could make the mermaid as black as they wanted.
Well,
it would be great. You have Johnny Depp talking to the prince saying, listen, watch out for mermaids.
I never had a problem with the race change on this. This we're talking about corporate media, corporate entertainment. Like what else?
But yeah, she gets into this whole, like, from here on out, she gets into this whole, like, history thing that you can tell she's reading off a wiki or something like that. But the main point of this whole video is the first line here in the 2-minute clip.
There is absolutely nothing to hate about this movie. Absolutely nothing. You know, if anyone hates on it, again, that's a commentary on themselves.
Well, I mean, time. I hated that it's a half hour too long.
Well, I also think that when this movie opens, there's going to be a lot of movie who's going to give some commentary about themselves then come this movie's opening, according to her narrative.
And there's a lot of people who are upset about the redhead erasure. There's not a ton of redheads in the Disney universe
anymore.
Redhead girls right now are one of the smallest minorities on the face of this earth. And they are rapidly becoming one of the least represented in media.
And when they were, this is the funny thing, you know, all the gripes that any black person, Hispanic person, or whatever would have about their depiction in movies, redheads could go on them 10 times over because they always play the villains. In fact, I caught Don Mancini, who's uber woke, the guy who created Chucky. He caught himself saying that redheaded people look evil. That's why he chose to make Chucky evil.
Chucky and then he goes, redheaded, you mean?
Or Chucky redheaded. And then he goes, oh, well, that used to be the misconception. You caught him stumbling over his own words at that point. It's like, oh yeah, see, yeah, you're not as woke as you claim you are.
No,
So-
actually, he's perfectly woke. It's just that woke doesn't mean exactly
or
what
yeah,
woke
or
means.
progressive, I guess is the
There
word I
are
should have.
there are
yeah.
some people who suffer from the delusion that woke is just to be kind and considerate. No, it isn't. Not at all. It is to be extremely biased. It's just a matter of who you're biased towards and for what reason.
Well, Chucky does steal souls.
Indeed. But there's really not much more to say about The Little Mermaid before
Not
we've seen
totally.
it. But in terms
yeah.
of how we think it might do. So, Tom, you're of the opinion that Grace could have a point, not because she has any insight or something like that, but as you say, broken clock is also can also be right twice a day. And this movie actually could make it to $1 billion, and I see why. Now, I don't think it's going to. And the reason I say that is because of the wear and tear to the Disney brand. Case in point, we now have 2 consecutive Marvel flops this year. Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 is arguably the best movie Marvel has put out since Endgame. It sits right next to Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's barely doing any better than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and we'll get into how that one ended up doing later here. But let's just say that the movie is underperforming big time. Like a third of the audience has been lost since part 2, and attendance-wise, it's kind of like on par with the first movie so far. And when the first movie came out, that was amazing, but that was the first movie. Now they are the fan favorites of the MCU, and it's performing badly. And since those billion-dollar movies, we've had Lightyear, we've had Strange World. They both bombed, and they eroded audience trust in the Marvel brand. Look at what's happening with Bud Light right now in this moment. I think that the audience out there, parents included, we just look at how the negative growth and the complete standstill on Disney Plus as people notice what's actually on there. I think that the entire Disney brand is suffering with families and with parents. And I think that this movie is going to suffer for it. Oh, I think it'll do 700-800 easily, but I don't think it's going to reach $1 billion.
You could be right, Andre. That's what I was saying about the whole, like, after Guardians, seeing how that played and how the last few animated films they've had have played compared to Mario. That you're right. Like, the proof is in the pudding now. It's not just, a certain faction of people that aren't, that are resisting Disney or boycotting it, however you want to look at it. It's a lot of the normies now. They
It's
are
reached
weary of the
critical
brand.
mass.
There's another point to this, and it could even lead into a little bit of our conversation about what was said about Paramount in the last couple of days here, is a lot of people are just waiting for it to hit streaming. They know that window is so small now that I think that's really what hurt Ant-Man more than anything. Is I think a lot of people looked at it and they're like, yeah, that's one I can wait for. And, a 45-day window ain't shit. I mean, even the bigger movies hitting within that 4 to 5 day window more or less anymore. The only movie that had come out in the last few months that hasn't dropped on video on demand within that 45-day window was Avatar. Mario Brothers is coming up on it. I'll be curious to see if by 45 days they don't throw that sucker up on video on demand, regardless of how well it's still doing in the theaters. So I don't know. That's one of the only other things I think might get in the way of this movie making very much money, is that people just be like, yeah, I'll just wait for it. Or they can make the kids wait for it. The only thing is little kids, especially little girls, know how to get their parents up off their ass to do whatever because they nag the hell out of them, or they're influenced. They're like preset, like social influenced people anymore. Kids are. They're up on this shit before we are most of the time. Like, most of the little things I learned about on the internet come from shit that's shown to me by somebody who has kids usually, or my kid. So, like, at this point, I don't want to count that out. Like, there's a lot of young girls I think that are going to want to see this movie because of just the buzz around it or what have you. But we'll see. I don't know. The parents are going to have to play a role in that. Paul, anything to say about this before we
Well,
move on?
I think it's going to be successful. That's my thought. It's very different from everything else out there. I think Disney has had a good record of turning its animated movies into live action that have succeeded, even if they sucked, like the Beast one, the one where the Beauty and the Beast with
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, with Emma Turncoat. That did extremely well. So even the kind of the 3D version of Lion King did really well.
Thank you for not calling it live action.
No, it's not live action. Yeah, obviously.
No,
But
Peter.
so I'm not willing to bet against it. And if Haley, whatever, is charming as people claim she is, then it'll be reason enough for the little girls to line up and watch this movie. I mean, you have to understand that she also has a career and a following on her own as a music personality. She's been groomed. Groomed is a bad term these days, but her dad has been working on her career since she was 3. So this is her gig.
And this is what I've been saying from the start. Never underestimate what young girls are into or whatever.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the doctor's office yesterday, and I was reminded because this one lady was talking to this other lady about her daughter going to the Taylor Swift concert, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of shit that we just don't understand, like Taylor Swift, that they can't get enough of. So,
hey, I took my daughter to Spice Girls. I think
exactly.
I might have been one of the only guys in there.
They were probably checking you for is he a sex offender?
Yeah, is he a sex offender? Yeah.
Andre, as a father of a young girl, I mean, do you get what I'm saying? Like with the whole, like I said, I was thinking of that yesterday when I heard that conversation about Taylor Swift. I'm like, I don't get it. But
that we had a great time at the Spice Girls concert. I have to say that.
You can never know exactly what little girls will get into, and if this movie hits all the marks, it's very possible that all the little girls will demand that their parents take them there, just like they all demanded to watch Wednesday. That was another one that just really took off with all the girls.
Yep.
Can the Little Mermaid do the same? Perhaps. I'm not going to count it out, but honestly, I don't think so.
Well, because it's Disney, they're going to be offering free chest binding to all the girls.
Yeah. You know what I think can do it? I think that the Moana remake or the Moana live action remake, I'd put more stock in that one. Because little girls today, no, seriously, little girls today.
I know, but that one makes no sense just because of it's brand new. But anyway, sorry.
That's exactly why. Little girls today have seen Moana. They, the target audience, have some level of nostalgia for it.
That's a good
Whereas
point.
we are the ones that have nostalgia for the Little Mermaid, the original animated movie. Little girls today, the target audience, they don't have any nostalgia for the Little Mermaid. That's old. That's weird. That's like 2D animated stuff. I guarantee you, most of them haven't seen it. And if they have seen it, they didn't care for it because it's old, right? Whereas they will have some level, quite a bit of nostalgia for the new 3D animated Moana. That one, that's going to be a monster hit. This one, I'm not so sure about. The only one that has any kind of nostalgia for the Little Mermaid are people around our age, plus minus 15 years in either direction. They are the ones with nostalgia for that, not the target audience of kids.
That's a very good point. Well, and that's where like we got our, the discussion of, is it made for us? I said, yeah, technically it is made for me. And I stated my case last night, and it was my last Disney movie, meaning it was the last Disney movie that came out when I was still a kid and not a teenager, technically. Yeah. So that was like the last one that I saw in the theaters. I didn't really get into anything after that. I saw Aladdin, because I think I was 11 when that came out. But at that point, I was just like, if it wasn't for the fact that like Robin Williams was in it, I probably wouldn't have, basically. But no, you guys are right. And Paul, that's a great point too. She has a following of her own already to go along with that. And especially if she's a pop star, these girls seem to follow. Like, you ever notice how these young female actors, singers, whatever, that's the whole thing, is they're multi-quadrant, right? Compared to the male stars. They've got a pop career already by the time they're a teenager. They're an actress then by the time they're, an adult. And so they have all 3 or 4 things covered, and they've almost got an EGOT already by the time they're 22. Yep. And it always seems to be the girls. So, I mean, you got a point there, Paul. Like, we could be underestimating that factor.
So I'm just looking at it from a success point of view. Whether the film itself is good or not, I'm not really discussing that.
But people are also comparing it to Cats, so we'll see.
Again, here there's clearly many factors pointing in different directions, but I will give this far greater as a chance of success than I would Cats.
Absolutely, yeah. Cats was 10 years too late and a complete misfire off the cuff.
Well, I'm glad Corden wasn't playing the octopus. That's all I have to say.
Well, at that point, like, who was still talking about Cats, first of all? Like, that show had been so overplayed and done with for the last 30 years. Like, it's just like nobody cared at that point. That's
what I mean. It was like, had any chance of being successful was if they had released the butthole cut.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now I want the butthole cut of Little Mermaid.
I don't.
That's the only way I'm going to make this thing watchable. I don't know.
You know what? It would have been. Sorry, what is that script?
Find the butthole. Exactly. Yes.
You know what? It would have been way cooler if, while she was underwater, that the Littlest Mermaid took us to J.R.R. Binks' community.
I guess it wouldn't really be. Yeah, that's funny. I guess it wouldn't really be find the butthole, but find the brown starfish.
Yeah.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There, you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe, and join us.